Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year! I hope everybody had a good holiday and New Year's. I did, thanks for asking. Mine was pretty chill. I took 2 weeks off of YouTube. It felt crazy. I made plans with my friends. I started going to hot yoga. I went back to hot yoga. No big deal. Roped Brendan into coming with me actually, which was fun. And I think I hurt my shoulder at hot yoga this morning, honestly, but what can you do? I'm still here. Anyway, whatever. Today we are talking about how to style your outdated kitchen. What to do with your outdated kitchen. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I mocked up these mock-ups on Photoshop over the last few days and pieced together all my little tips for what to do with your outdated kitchen. And then I was just eating a burrito and I was watching some YouTube while I was eating said burrito. And I go and I look at Paige Wassel to catch up on her videos, and she made a video about outdated stuff in your home. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is a lot of kitchens. This is a lot of the tips that I have about kitchens, which makes sense because lots of my stuff is inspired by her because she's one of my inspirations. Anyways, whatevs, we're getting into it anyways, but sorry if it seems like I'm copying her if you like her. Whatever, nobody really cares, do they? We're all just here for fun. However, I will say this stemmed from something not so fun. Well, sustainability is fun if you're being sustainable and feeling good about it. However, I really wanted to make this video because I feel like so many people with their kitchens, when they go into a rental, a kitchen, a bathroom, whatever it may be, they start putting up peel and stick tiles everywhere and peel and stick wallpaper and peel and stick contact paper on the counters. And I've had enough. I've had enough. Yes, sometimes it can look really good. Yes, sometimes I'm sure that these products are good quality. Either way, it is so unsustainable for you to be in a rental for a year or two and put up a backsplash of fake tile and then tear it off after a year or two because your landlord doesn't want it up because they want the real tile on the wall. And all of those rubber plastic fake tiles are going in the trash. So unsustainable. And most of the time the backsplashes aren't that bad. And I want to say I've never experienced the peel and stick tile. I've never used it. I've never had experience with it. But I will say that I'm sure that most of the time it doesn't look as good as just the regular tile that was there to begin with. Because usually you pick a really wacky color. Most people who do this are doing something like freaky and very fun. Or they're just being really nitpicky about a tile that was already there and it doesn't really make that much of an impact to get the peel and stick tile, I feel like. And I feel like there are lots of other ways to update your kitchen or your bathroom by doing little things that cost less, just pull away from the tile or whatever it is that's outdated that you don't like, or even just ways to complement it so that it looks good and doesn't look that old and outdated anymore. Or of course, I mean, if this is your house and you own it and you're planning on being in it for a long, long time, then of course rip out the tile and do some new tile. That is also wasteful. You know, you're getting rid of this old tile that was there, but ceramic is not plastic, first of all, I will say. Secondly, if you're going to be there for a long time and appreciate it, then I think it is totally worth it. But I feel like more commonly people put up these peel and stick tiles in places that they're gonna live in for like a year, 2, 3, 4. And that's not really long enough to be purchasing this expensive product that is really a one-time use product. And then it goes in the trash. Honestly, most of the time your tile, your counter, your floor, whatever you want to cover with those peel and stick tiles or that contact paper is really not that bad. I think that lots of people probably also rent a space and then are like, oh, we need to do that right away. But if you put your stuff in there and saw how it looked, you'd be like, oh, actually, it's kind of cute. It's totally fine. Like, I don't like the tile in my bathroom, but I left the tile in my bathroom and I painted my trim in my bathroom to complement the rest of the bathroom in the tile color. And it actually turned out really nice, even though I don't love, like, there's like a row of glitzy, glammy tile. But I'm not going to remove all of that tile when I'm not planning on living here forever. And it's really not that bad and it still works. I think that the only time that you actually need to cover up these things, and I still wouldn't, but it does make sense that you would want to if your backsplash and your counter really don't match. Like if they're really contradicting each other and whoever picked it just like clearly had no idea what was going on, or they were taking a risk and went for something crazy and it just doesn't complement each other at all, then I think that's a fair problem. But most of the time it's just like, oh, the countertops are white linoleum and I wish they were wood, so I'm going to cover them with wood contact paper. And that just doesn't really make sense. Especially since contact paper and stuff like that is hard to put on. Like you get a lot of bubbles and stuff like that. That's what you don't see online. These people are putting that in and they're not showing you all of like the little dust particles that got underneath and you can see where it's uneven, or like they got an air bubble over there and they had to like cut it out and like just, it's always a disaster, I feel like. So let's get into it though. We're going to do a fun little mock-up of this kitchen that we have here. This is an outdated kitchen. Obviously, it's kind of ugly. It's not exactly what people would be going for today because people are going for today either a kitchen that was of a time before this, I feel like. Like, I feel like more people would want to keep like a vintage retro kind of styled kitchen, or a mid-century kitchen, or people want like the modern kitchen of today, which is just like a basic white kitchen. It's what I have. I have a basic modern kitchen of today, I guess. But anyway, obviously this looks quite outdated and kind of dirty and ugly, but I think that it's not actually that outdated and dirty and ugly. I think it's just that we need some styling here, some minor upgrades that will make it look better. They do have new appliances, which is great and lovely, and they look awesome. So firstly, I think that a couple of things that are going to make a huge difference here are removing the big box light thing on the ceiling. We got to get rid of that. That's outdated, sure, but it's also just ugly. Like, I don't think that this is coming back in style ever. I don't think that this was ever a good idea. It's just not a nice light fixture, in my opinion. I don't know. Does anybody like that? It's like fluorescent. It feels like you're in school or something. And we're going to remove the faucet because the faucet is quite outdated. And also, faucets actually aren't even that expensive nowadays. You can get one that like works real well and you can spray it all over the place. You know what I mean? And we're going to remove these cutting boards off of the counter that we see here that are the same white color of the counter. They almost look like they're the same material, and they're just not doing anything for us. So we're going to get rid of those. Okay, now that we've removed all of that, let's start by adding in a new faucet. We're going to do a sleek, fancy, modern stainless steel faucet. We're matching the rest of the appliances here because why not? And that's just kind of my favorite type of faucet, usually is like some sort of silver metal. Although I do like the gold ones. I like the gold ones more so when it looks like a vintage brass type of vibe. And I like black faucets as well. You can never go wrong with a black faucet, I feel like. As far as the blinds situation goes, I can see there's like some little blinds. They're almost like built into the window, it looks like, those kinds. Where it's like behind the screen. And those are fine. They're ugly. They're fine if they're for practical use, but we should just really get rid of those. And if you can't remove them, then I think we should just keep them open. Just keep them open. Pretend they're not even there because they're just not good. That type of like plastic blind that we had in the 90s was just not it. Okay, now firstly, we're going to actually warm up these walls. I can't really tell what color the walls are here, but this seems counterintuitive because there's a lot of warm going on. The tile seems to be like a warm white backsplash. We've got warm wood cabinets, but then the walls behind the cabinets are looking slightly cool toned. And so we're going to warm those up with a warm white color, like a cream color, almost something similar to the tile. And even though it seems like that would make everything feel so much more warm and too warm, it actually is going to make it feel better because it's going to blend in with the tile and the cabinets and not contrast them. Because right now the grayish tone is kind of contrasting them and making them pop a lot more, whereas this will make it feel a lot more muted. Everything will kind of be muted when it's all warm. Another major upgrade to this that's like a built-in kind of upgrade, it's not necessarily styling, is the knobs. Now, for some reason, there's no knobs. Maybe there's the ones that you can just like pull it from the bottom, but they do look unfinished. I think that the cabinets with no knobs look good when it's just like a solid board and it's very modern, but this looks kind of weird. It looks like the knobs are just missing. Like this type of cabinetry where it has the router detail, it looks like it definitely should have knobs to me. We're going to do some knobs. We're going to do a very modern knob, and we're going to do a silver metal. Like, I'm doing a shiny silver. You can't really tell, okay? I threw these knobs on here. You can't really tell, but if I can find it, I'll put a big picture of the knob up. I like the idea of this bright polished silver with the stainless steel, like that they're a little bit different, but they're still silver. I just kind of like how it's going to look to have the really shiny metal and then the not so shiny metal of the stainless steel. Call me crazy, but that's what we're doing. And personally, I like little tiny poles like this. I mean, I'm down for some handles and stuff like that. That's totally cool too, if that's what you're into. And I think it could look good here. It could look good in lots of places, but I do like just a tiny little metal knob. As we can also see here, the floor is kind of ugly as well. I'm sure somebody would also love to cover this with a peel and stick tile, but it's doing the job. It looks like a linoleum sheet floor. It's fine. You know, I would like this better if it was just plain or if it was square. Something about this weird pattern is just really what's making it look super dated. But the one nice thing about a floor is we can always put a rug in. We're going to put a rug in here. Now, I know putting a rug in the kitchen is kind of dangerous, but you can get some thinner ones, like not a high pile rug that's going to, if you drop a cookie or something, it's going to just disappear into the rug. We can get a thin pile rug or a washable rug. Nowadays, there are washable rugs. I picked this one that already looks like it has a tile pattern, kind of, because I feel like it would look nice on a floor that it kind of looks like tiles in the kitchen anyways. It's kind of Art Deco, and it's also this dark red color that I pulled from the stained glass in the cabinet. I thought it would complement it nice. I love a burgundy color. I actually love the stained glass in these cabinets. I think it's really cute. So anyways, that's what we're going to be doing with the rug. Okay, moving back to the windows where we removed those blinds, we're gonna put up a Roman shade here. This is so Paige Wassel to put up a Roman shade, shout out. But I don't really know what else you would do here. You couldn't put a curtain. I honestly usually go for curtains. I go for track curtains rather than a Roman shade, but really this is the only thing that you could do here is a Roman shade, and I think that it does need something. We need some fabric up there to break up all the wood cabinets, I think. So let's put a Roman shade. I would usually go for a stripe or some sort of fun pattern, but I think that that will start to feel way too cottagecore in this type of kitchen. So I just went for like a plain dusty blue, and I like how it's looking. It's simple, it's easy, it's peasy. And lastly, before styling, the only other like big permanent change we need to make here is, of course, we need a light fixture. We got rid of that big box light. We need to put some sort of light. And I would always put under the cabinet lighting. My parents always had it growing up, and it just feels like nice. It feels kind of bougie when you can just light up under the cabinets. But we're also going to put a pendant light in the center of the kitchen. This looks weird in the edit because I couldn't figure out how to make it look like it's in the center of the kitchen, but it is in the center of the kitchen. Imagine it's in the center of the kitchen, okay? And I tried this red one, and it's looking too space-agey. It's giving way too much of a diner or something like that. It's just not right. As much as I would love to have like a fun red light up there, I decided to instead we're going for this black, classy, space-age, modern globe pendant light. The black is complementing the oven nicely. I like it up there. And I think it would just give off a really nice glow in the kitchen while still being bright. Like a glass globe is quite bright because you need bright light in the kitchen sometimes, obviously. Then I can see that we have like a little bit of a bookshelf above the fridge here, or some sort of shelf. We're going to just fill that with books. Fill that with cookbooks or any types of books. Any books that we have, we're going to put books up there. It'll just look cute. Again, it'll break up some of the cabinetry and not have just like a bunch of dusty bowls up there, because we're going to put dusty bowls on the other shelf. So the one thing so far that I was feeling is that we're almost putting too many modern things into this kitchen. I don't want it to look super modern. I don't want it to look super cottagecore. I don't want it to look super outdated. I don't want it to look old. I want it to almost look confusing of what era it's in. And not even really in an era. I feel like when you aren't going for like a cottagecore, mid-century, boho, like when you're not just stuck in a style, that's when you walk into a space and you're like, oh, this is just stuff that you actually like. Like this is your style. Not just like you saw in a mid-century modern magazine that they had this, and this, and that's what you got. It feels like you went to the store and you're like, oh, this light fixture is cool, but so is that bowl that's like from a different era. And I like blue. Why don't we put blue Roman shades up? Anyway, all this to say that I don't want to just have modern new things in, so we're going to put some old vintage looking pots up on top of the cabinets here and a cottagecore little bowl. A little green cottagecore-esque little floral little bowl, something like that. I mean, obviously, this is all just make-believe, so this isn't exactly what would be happening in this kitchen, but you get the vibe, you get the gist. We're doing some modern, we're doing some old, we're doing some vintage, we're going to do some mid-century, we're going to do all the styles, just anything that we like within that style and throw it all together. And we've got a kitchen. And you've got a kitchen. So, to replace those cutting boards and also to break up some more of this white beige situation we've got going on with the tile and the backsplash, we're going to put in some new cutting boards. I thought a dark wood one because I like mixed wood tones. I feel like everything is looking quite mid-tone, so it'd be nice to have a little dark wood cutting board in there. And we did a green marble one. Just throw in some green because I love color. And we're also going to put some dark wood cutting boards in the corner. The dark wood cutting boards are just kind of to break up the backsplash. I do like this backsplash where it has like a little bit of a detail, like a little floral detail on every however many tiles. But I think that lots of people don't like this. And I think that to lots of people, this does feel outdated. Like if you don't like cottagecore, then you just wouldn't really like this tile probably. But I do like cottagecore. I actually might even want to dive into this kitchen and make it look cottagey rather than just like dated, and rather than what I'm doing here. Oh, probably not, I guess. But sometimes when I see the cottagecore stuff online, I really love that style. Like a English countryside, like British, lots of wallpaper. I really do like that style. I think it looks cute. Which actually lots of people I've seen on YouTube do that kind of stuff, but then still keep some modern furniture and do like a mixed style still. So it can be done. Then also I want to put a lamp in this corner for some extra little mood lighting. And you can't really tell because it's so far away, but I did a lamp that has a pleated lampshade that is quite cottagecore. Yet again, to not make everything feel so modern. Like if I did a space-agey lamp also in this corner, it would feel kind of crazy. Like with the space-agey fixture and like all the modern stuff, it would just feel too space-agey to me. And then another way to break up your backsplash if you really don't like it is of course to just hang art up there. And you don't necessarily have to drill into the tile. I have hung up art on mine using command strips. Just stick it onto the tile, stays up great. And I decided to just throw a lovely green piece of art up here. Lovely. But I think that we're really missing like a bright color in here. Everything is kind of earthy which I do like earth tones, but I really wanted to do a bright frame. I usually would do a bright red frame here, and I was going to do a bright red frame here, but I'm like, is it overdone? I love a bright red frame. We're doing bright blue today. Yeah. And I know it looks crazy, but that's what we're doing. We're doing a bright blue frame. I kind of like it though. And we needed like a pop of something. And then I decided to add a pot of flowers onto the counter. I was going to do a vase with flowers in it. However, I recently learned on the note of sustainability, because I'm on a big sustainability kick right now. I can talk about that more later if anybody wants me to. And even if you don't want me to, I'll probably still talk about it. But I was talking to one of my besties recently, and she's kind of like a sustainability queen. Like, she was kind of sustainable before it was even sustainable, before it was even cool. And she was telling me about flowers. She was telling me about cut flowers, and they have a huge impact on the environment. There was lots of reasons, like bad working conditions. I don't know. I haven't actually like done the research and looked things up, and I can't exactly remember what she said, but I know one of the main points was the fact that they have to stay refrigerated and they're getting flown from somewhere else. Like, we're not growing flowers here. Like, sure, I guess some are probably grown in greenhouses and stuff, but often they're getting flown from somewhere else. So that plane has to be refrigerated and flown here, like just with flowers. So it's super unsustainable, like literally just flying planes of flowers all over the place. And I can't remember what else she said. I probably sound stupid. She said it better than I do, but anyways, I put a pot of flowers because I'm going to start buying pots of flowers, which I do actually already have some pots of flowers, but I'm going to look more into that rather than buying cut flowers if I ever want flowers. Or just waiting till the spring and the summer and cutting your own flowers outside if you grow your own flowers, or if you go to like, I don't know, is there gardens that you can go and cut flowers? Surely. Anyway, sorry, another sustainability tangent. Now, also, I don't want to clutter up this bay window. I feel like lots of people are drawn to just throwing a bunch of stuff in the windowsill area like this. Like, it's a fun little nook to put things and display things and put plants and stuff like that. But I actually like when you can just see out the window and there's not too much obscuring the view. But I would like to put just maybe a few little candelabras, like a few little gold vintage candelabras. And then it's also really cute because if you light them at night, if someone sees your house from the outside, like looking into the window, it looks like really cute with the little candles. It's a little vibe in there. Lastly, we're adding a little tea towel, another little piece of cottagecore tea towel. And really those last bits are really just styling. I mean, you can style it however you want to, but this is how I would style it. I would try and do like some modern and some cottagecore and some other kind of stuff. But even just getting the base down makes these wooden cabinets look a lot less dated. Kind of more like hipster, more hip and with it. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea what I'm saying, so you probably don't either. Okay, just when you thought that this video was about to end, boom, new angle. We got a new angle. We're going to do a new angle because I wanted to also talk about this little dining space and what's going on here. Because as you can see in this house, there's lots of wood furniture. This is a classic old person's house where they have like nice old wooden furniture, but it's so much wood in the house. It's crazy. Like, there's this kitchen dining set that's wood, but then you can also see that there's like a dining table and chair in the background that are also wood. And then there's also like a wooden credenza behind the dining table in the dining room. And then there's the wood kitchen and there's the wood trim, and it's just like crazy. I love wood. However, I think in this particular case, this wood is so overdone and it does feel dated in a bad way. And I don't even know what dated in a bad way means. Like, I'm like, is this going to come back around at some point? Is this like cottagecore kind of vibe going to come back where like these woods are fine? Because I'm looking at this wooden table set and looking at the wooden cabinets and all the things, and I like them all separate. So I guess maybe they are still cool, but then when you put them all together, it's just way too much in my opinion. Anyway, so we're going to work with this new angle. And so we're going to actually remove this kitchen table, this wooden kitchen set. I don't like it. I have too much wood. I also don't like how it's so square. I don't think a square is right for this little space, this little like corner. At least I can kind of tell that it's like a corner, like a little, you could put a little banquette in there. I would totally put a little banquette in there if it was my house. I love a little kitchen banquette, but that's not what we're going to do here because banquettes aren't like realistic because not everybody can just be building a banquette. And we're going to remove the wood from the other room because I just can't even look at it anymore. So I'm just going to add in all the things that we had previously. And also there's this little shelf. I think that's for a microwave. So I put in a microwave that kind of matches the oven because I think it's cute to be like a little bit matchy with the kitchen appliances. And we're going to put some more pictures on this little backsplash. I feel like with the art, you know, you can't really go wrong with the art, but I feel like doing anything that isn't super grandma, cottagecore, vintage vibe in this kitchen would look good. So probably something more modern. I just went for like 3 little pictures of little people that I liked online. We're also going to add a little plant here to break up some of the wood, have it trailing over the side. It's cute, you know, too many plants is kind of like, too many plants, but a plant here and there to break things up and add a little bit of greenery. I love that. We're also going to add a big picture. I'm not sure what would be going on in the other room, but I just can't handle the blank wall and stuff, so we're just going to put a giant piece of art right there for now. And we're going to unfortunately remove this glass light shade. I need to check my Pinterest board. I like the glass lampshade. I do. I feel like I would like this glass lampshade in a specific type of dining room or a bedroom or a living room. Like, it really would look good pretty much anywhere, just not in this room. And I'm gonna chalk it up to the fact that there's this other stained glass that's in the kitchen. It's feeling way too matchy-matchy, especially from this angle, getting all these stained glasses. Like, it just feels so matchy-matchy. So if this was my house, I would totally keep that light fixture, but I would maybe put it in the living room, maybe in like a little reading corner or in my bedroom or something like that, because it actually is really cool. I like these light fixtures a lot. You won't really find a light fixture that I don't like very much. I kind of like them all, I'm discovering. Sure, the boob light's not great, but even then there's like some really cute vintage looking ones. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to the lighting, okay? Anyway, we're gonna remove that light fixture and we're going to go for a space age table as well. I know, is this too much space age? I can't decide, but I feel like I really had to go modern with this table. And I didn't really want to go with too much color because I wanted to go color with the chairs and we have the colorful rug and stuff. So anyways, we went for this table. I'm not exactly sure if it's the right choice, but it's the best choice that I could find. You know, I do still like it in here. The silver legs are pretty cool. The table really is surrounded by the chairs, so the legs don't really matter that much, but I do love the fact that it's a light wood tabletop because, like I said before, mixing the wood tones is really nice. But I feel like putting this light wood in here instantly makes it feel less dated, the whole room as a whole. And like I said, I think a round table in this corner would be the way to go. And for the chairs, what are we going to do for the chairs? For the chairs, we're going to do mid-century modern vibe with the chairs. We're going to do a lovely green color, a bit of a swamp-esque green. You know what kind of greens I like. A corduroy. Corduroy's hot right now. Has corduroy always been hot? I feel like yes. My friend sent me photos of a corduroy couch the other day that she's thinking about getting, and I love it. And I was like, oh, my other friend has that in her apartment. Corduroy's cool. Corduroy jacket, corduroy overalls. Is corduroy ever not cool? Anyway, we're gonna put these green chairs in. They're very mid-century modern. And I don't exactly know styles and eras. Like, I'm not that into design where I like am flipping through old magazines and I know exactly what mid-century modern means. But does anybody actually know what mid-century modern means? It means wood. It means orange. It means green. It means silver metal, sometimes space age, but also mid-century modern. Does anybody know what it means? I don't think we do. But I'm pretty sure these chairs are mid-century modern. And they do feel like something that was missing in this kitchen. Some more fabric, some more green, because I love color, and the dark wood legs. It just feels classy. This little dining area feels classy. I love like a classy, bougie, kind of fancy feeling dining area, like where those chairs look comfortable and expensive as hell. Okay, now we're going to add in a new light fixture. And with the light fixture, I did go cottagecore. Yet again, like our pleated lamp. I went cottagecore. I went pleated lampshade. But I also have been seeing these on. These are like also looking modern-esque with the paper because they're made of paper. But then I'm like, pleated lampshade makes me think grandma core. But then if it's a paper pleated lampshade, it's also giving a Noguchi vibe, I suppose. I don't know. I just don't know. But I do know that I like it. I like it a lot. I like this pleated lampshade, and I like how it's looking with the other pendant light. Your pendant lights don't have to match. They don't have to be from the same era. They don't have to be similar. They don't have to be anything. They can be totally different, and I think it still looks fun and totally works. I would have even liked how the stained glass one looked with this really modern light fixture, but I just didn't like how it looked with the stained glass on the cabinets. Okay, and we're almost done. I feel like I've been blabbering a lot this video. I was like, oh, I'm nervous. Am I gonna even know what to say? I haven't filmed a YouTube video in 2 weeks. And then here I am like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're also going to be adding a picture to the dining area. Yep, you guessed it. We're gonna add a lovely little picture over here. You could also do a mirror. You could also do, I thought like a candelabra sconce, like a wall sconce thing. Something like that, although maybe that would be kind of weird with the light hanging down. But I like the idea of going for a picture over here, and we're going to do red so that we can tie in the red from the rug. And also I love how red and green look together. I love this one that it's maroon with the bright red. I love monochromatic moments like that, and it just looks like a cool piece of art. I love that we are getting into this era of art where we're doing fun colored frames. We're doing all different types of frames. We're doing floral patterned matting. We're doing crazy colored matting. I feel like people are really starting to have fun with it, where it's not just your nice piece of art and then you put it in a black, white, or wooden frame, or maybe some sort of metal, and it's just plain, and that's that. We're making the matting and the frame a part of the art, and I love it. And lastly, in the dining area, we are going to be adding some candelabras on the table. And I thought it would be maybe fun to get some like crazy iron vintage candelabras. Obviously, we'd have to find these somewhere at the thrift store or something like that, but these are super cool. And they're adding a different era to the room completely. Even just like a small little touch like that of Viking core is completely changing up the room space. Just adding a little taste of Viking. You know what I mean? Okay guys, and that's all I have to report this week. That is everything that I mocked up on Photoshop for us this week. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I've just been getting into sustainability. I'm thinking about doing a no-buy month for the rest of January, but I'm really scared. I'm really scared to do a no-buy month because what if I feel like I want to buy something? Or what if I feel like I need to buy something? And I've kind of been on a roll with the thrift stores lately. I've been finding lots of cool clothes, and so I really want to go shop, but I didn't get as many things done around my house that I wanted to over the holidays, and so I feel like I should maybe just do a no-buy month, get some things done around my house, get my affairs in order, and you know, kind of get a jump start on like the spring and stuff like that, because it's going to be a busy year. I've got lots of traveling and stuff going on, which is so exciting and going to be so fun. But I also would really like to get my house in order. Just things that feel neglected, mainly the baseboards. The baseboards are really top of mind right now. I want to re-silicone all the baseboards because they're getting gaps, and I just don't think that they were done properly originally. So I'd really like to fix those up and paint the trim in my house, because even the trim in my house and like in the banister and stuff, it's like they should have done another coat and they didn't. You can almost still see whatever was underneath. Like the paint strokes look kind of too thin. So I'd like to get on that. So maybe I will have to do a no-buy month to convince myself to get all that stuff done. Because yeah, I'm on this sustainability journey. I have always believed in sustainability. I've always believed in buying secondhand, doing what you can for the environment while trying to not overwhelm yourself. It can become really depressing when you realize how many things are wrong on the planet, and when you do lots of research. Yeah, it's like sad. It's sad. It's just totally sad. Humans are awesome, amazing. Obviously, we're amazing creatures, we're amazing animals, but we also have caused so much destruction to the planet. It's kind of disturbing. And as many pros and all this technology that we have and this language and all these things, we also come with a lot of cons, okay? But one way that I feel like combats those feelings for me where I start to feel depressed, you know, just really go into a big hole of like, oh my goodness, it's so overwhelming and look at what we've done and all the harm that we're causing. One thing that makes me feel better about that is doing what I can on a personal level. So, and now I've been vegan for 10 years. Woo! Which is a whole other bag of worms, because lately it's been really difficult sometimes with socializing and stuff. Veganism just can feel really isolating, especially when you barely have any vegan friends. And it's easy to start to feel like nobody else cares. And I know that people do care, and people are doing what they can and they're doing their best. I totally understand. And I would never judge, because I was not vegan for the first 20 years of my life. I didn't even really know what it was. I kind of did because I had a friend who was vegan, but I didn't understand it. I didn't really understand where our food came from, and I never really had worried about that until I learned about it. And so I understand that lots of people aren't learning about it, don't learn about it, or don't really care to learn about it. I mean, ignorance is bliss, so it's totally fair and it's understandable. But so then for those of us who do care, and when I see people with animals and things like that, I'm like, oh, but there's a huge disconnect here. Like, you don't actually understand what's going on. So sometimes it can feel really hopeless, knowing that there's all this suffering going on. Anyways, there's so many things to be said about that. But it's kind of serendipitous that I've hit this 10-year mark and also have discovered this person who is inspiring me. Her name is Kezia, if anybody is interested in looking her up on YouTube. She's a British YouTuber who lives in Sussex with her family, and they haven't bought any new clothes in 3 years, her and her husband and her 3 children. they buy everything from the thrift store, like even their socks and their underwear and stuff, because you can find new socks and underwear in packages and stuff. Because often I think that people buy underwear, use a pair, they didn't like it, so then they donate it to the thrift store. So you can really find anything at the thrift store nowadays. There's so many things. And consumerism is a huge problem right now. We live in such a materialistic society, and it's really hard to not want to buy these things, especially if prices are good and sales. And I mean, our society is just built on like shop, 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 fast fashion, fast furniture, more, 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 more. We don't have high quality goods anymore. And so that's what I'm really excited about right now, is that I'm going to start doing what I can, which I feel like is buying more things secondhand, because I do have an Amazon membership and I have bought lots of things on Amazon. And I'm not a big Amazon hater necessarily. I understand that it's super convenient and we're all really busy and overwhelmed. And so it's understandable that we want to buy something that's just going to show up at our door the next day. But I also do think that I end up buying lots of things that I totally don't need at all and barely end up using, and also lots of things that I could have found at the thrift store if I just kept it in mind and waited until the next couple of thrift shops. I usually end up finding those items anyways. Like one good example, actually, I wanted this OXO salad dressing like shaker. It has like a lid that seals and you can pour it out. I wanted to put my coconut milk in it because my coconut milk comes in a can. I want to put it in there so that in the morning I can just pour it out of this OXO salad dressing bottle and pour it into my coffee, pour the coconut milk into my coffee. And it's like $25 on Amazon. And I was like, oh, I could buy this and have it tomorrow. Because I was at my sister's house and she had one. And I was like, this would be perfect for that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if I can find it at the thrift store because it'll be cheaper, and also obviously sustainability. And then maybe like a month later, like maybe on my third or fourth thrift trip after that had happened, when I've been like keeping it in mind when I'm walking the aisles, I found one. I found one for $2. The exact salad dressing bottle in like perfect condition. Because yeah, you can literally find anything at the thrift store because everybody's buying so much stuff and then they're donating it. Anyway, so that's my new journey that I'm on, and I'm really excited about it because I love the planet. Because I love Earth, Mother Nature. Brendan and I also saw Avatar last night, Avatar 3, and we watched the second one. We have both seen the first one plenty of times because it came out in 2009, but we couldn't really remember the second one. We hadn't seen it since we saw it in theaters 3 years ago. So then we watched that one, and then we watched the third one. And so that's also why like animals and sustainability and nature and all those things are top of mind, because I'm watching Avatar and I'm like, oh, this is so sad that they're like killing these Tolkiens, like these whale creatures and whatever. And I'm like, oh, this happens in real life. This isn't just a movie. This is scary. So that's also why everything's been top of mind. But they were really good movies. Really, really good movies. I think I like the second one the best. I think it was fun that they went to like this whole new world and got to learn about the water creatures and the swimming underwater and stuff like that. But I did really like the third one too. The third one had me on the edge of my seat. It was a lot of battle scenes, and it was a little bit scary for me. Like my heart was kind of pumping in there last night. Okay, anyways, I just made muffins. It's like 10 p.m. Oh, it's exactly 10 p.m. And I made muffins and I need to pack them up and I need to get ready for bed and go to bed. But I'm so happy to be back. I hope that everybody had a good break. I had a good break. And if you've made it this far into the video after all my many rants and tangents, about sustainability, comment down below if there's anything you'd like me to talk about. If there's any videos you want me to make, any specific rooms in the house. I think I'm going to do a part 2 of incorporating color, because I know some people wanted me to go more in depth on using color in a room, like what paint colors and what color combinations look good and stuff like that. So yeah, comment down below if there's any other videos you want me to make. I feel like I also will make some more videos of design advice for my subscribers, because I did get a few more emails, and so I'm going to work on those. So stay tuned for those, guys, and thank you for emailing me. I'm excited. I read all my emails and I love all your homes. They're amazing. I got some really good submissions, and I've been thinking lots about what I would do and some advice for people. So I will make some more of those videos. And you know, I've got to get back on that Photoshop. You know, I love that Photoshop. Anyway, I will see you guys next Thursday. We're back on schedule, and I will see you next Thursday. And thanks for watching. Okay, bye.